It's the My Michelle Live podcast.
My Michelle Live. My Michelle Live. Sports Timeout. The fans, the field, the faith, the fun. Here's Michelle.
Yes, the fans, the field, the faith, the fun, and the fellas. We're here doing Sports Time Out. I am really blessed to have my friend, my brother, the one and the only Brent R Baker right beside me, although I can't jeer him much because his elbow's right by me. I have to behave myself today. I don't know. Hey, Brent, good to have you.
It is fun to be here and cool to see where the magic happens. I'm impressed.
He's impressed. And Garrick's with us as well. Garrick Pang, welcome.
It was worth the wait.
It was. It's good to have you guys. We're talking sports today. There's a lot going on, some fun stories, some weird stories. And as we get on the first day of spring training, it's baseball season. We have some aftermath of the Super Bowl still. And we have some rumors of how things are going to shake up for next year. There's some controversies. There's just everything you could ever want in a news cycle has happened this week in sports, pretty much. Guys, first, let's do a little NFL Super Bowl aftermath. The Eagles were actually fined for a hit on a Chiefs player during the Super Bowl. Where did you go, Garrick? Come back to us.
I'm back.
Did you guys see this story, first of all? Did you see it?
Actually, I did not see that. So
Okay.
Yeah, I saw it. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to open the link here and I'll show it to you guys. Wasn't very prepared before because we were all easing into my studio. That was the
finding parking.
finding parking in Seattle, what it's like to live in the city. So this was really crazy. I'm going to show this to you if we can come up with the... Yeah, we're live, but don't worry. When it gets broadcast, all this crazy stuff is out. Take a look. If you're watching, you'll see this. If not, we'll put a link on our website.
You want me to pull it up, Michelle? I've got it right here.
No, you're good. You just can't see
Okay.
it. So let's see if you can.
Okay, just want to take a look at this. This is the last one in the first half. Can jump and make a play.
It's hard to see, but as you look at this, it's amazing to me because it just looked like a regular play. And what they were looking at, honestly, was what you see indicative of college ball if you hit with the crown of your helmet, you're out of the game. It's called targeting. What was your impression, Garrick?
To me, it looked like football. He was going in, and whether or not he was intentionally trying to spear him in that way, I don't know. But and not being a football player, it's hard for me to discern, because in the moment, the guy's running at you, right? And you're trying to tackle him. And he went for him, and clearly his head was in there. And to me, it looks like more dangerous for the hitter.
The defender. Exactly. It was almost to me like insult to injury. You don't get to win. There's a controversial call in the fourth quarter, and we're just going to go ahead and find one of your players. It really, yes, it was an outcome because, I mean, there was an injury and it didn't look pretty, but I didn't see anything, in my opinion. You didn't see it, Brent, but
what I could see from that is first of all, there was no penalty called there on the guy. And I don't have a problem with retroactively fining someone for a call that was missed, but to me it needs to be pretty egregious for that to happen, where you can tell it's obvious, maybe there was intent there. Something like this that basically looked like just a football play where maybe something happened. I was like, come on, it is overboard.
Yeah, and an insult to injury thing too. It's what
if I win, I'll pay the fine, no problem.
Yeah, there you go. Another let's look back at the Super Bowl, because we have to hold on to it in America, right? It's the most important Sunday on the whole calendar, right? But Chiefs fans are actually a little offended. Did you know It was a drunk fest, and it often is by players during the parade. If you've ever been to a parade hailing the conquering heroes, you know that there's a lot of drinking going on. And the Chiefs football team, they were smashed. Patrick Mahomes was like, here, and handed the trophy to some fan. They don't have the real trophy there, though, guys, so just chill out a little bit. But many people said, you know what, I'm just really ashamed of our team. And I think there's a point there because, yeah, you're excited. Yeah, you're celebrating. Champagne is flying. But, Brent, seriously, this is a time where kids are suffering from depression, a lack of vision. They really don't have, their heroes have turned into zeros where their behaviors are concerned.
Yeah, I kind of have two minds of this. I don't want to condone public drunkenness by the team, but I also didn't see anything that we haven't seen from every other Super Bowl. I remember Marshawn Lynch at the Seahawks won 10 years ago, and that was over the top. And not just publicly drunk, but like publicly drinking shots on the parade, during the parade. So, yeah.
But that's Marshawn.
We are such a culture of scolds now where every offense has to be laid out on social media and debated endlessly, which is what we're doing now.
Yeah, but that's keeps us at work, right?
Not quite endlessly.
I hear
there
that.
Will be a stop to this.
There's things you expect from Marshawn. I was just at an NHL game where he's a partial minor owner of the Seattle Kraken, which is the 32nd, the brand newest team in the NHL League, National Hockey League. And he was making some kind of announcement, and he was like, "Get off your ad." And it was just so Marshawn. He was talking about raising money, raising band. He said 32,000 bandages, and you're like, what? It's just he talks the way he talks. So I'm not surprised with Marshawn. He's going to do what Marshawn's going to do, but on the whole, what are you sending out to kids? What message are you sending out to kids? We've loosened our standards. Even at the NHL games on the big screen, I have noticed that they will show people, and people grab their beer and guzzle it, and they'll zoom in. And I'm thinking, you both want to target children, but what is that targeting? This is maybe the signs of the times we're in.
I also think it's interesting that this is a problem when like some of the biggest sponsors of the Super Bowl are the beer companies. So it's like you want your stars using your product. There you go.
Yeah. But then we're also a nation that has had prohibition, and other countries around the world drink. And they drink responsibly. The kids go with them into pubs and to bars. It is part of the society, and it's not about getting drunk. And here is let Garrick talk, because we're like, oh, yeah, Garrick, you're there. Hey, what's up, man?
I think the cultural aspect is very interesting, and something about the whole taboo aspect of it and raising kids with a healthy understanding. But I remember being in Germany, actually, playing soccer, and after a match, you would sit down, and they would put a beer in front of you. And that was just what they thought. And I remember talking with a missionary that we were working with over there, and it was really funny because when he first got there, because he had been a missionary there for more than a dozen years and very much understood the culture, they put a beer in front of him, and he said, "No, thank you, I don't drink. I don't drink alcohol." And he said, and the person's genuine response to him was, "It's not alcohol, it's beer." And they see alcohol as being hard liquor.
Sure.
And beer is just a part of the culture.
Yeah, as wine is in many places in Europe.
Exactly. Yep.
What's your hang up, people? Come on. I get it.
But what cracks me up, especially in the faith community, is they get all uptight about alcohol. And I've literally heard about some theologians who have tried to make the Jesus miracle, his first miracle of turning water into wine, making some case for it being non-alcoholic.
It was the grape juice that Baptists have when they're doing communion.
Yeah, I've heard that argument too, and it's a classic case of trying to shoehorn a biblical narrative into what you already believe to begin with.
Right.
Yeah, let's
Exactly.
create God in our own image. We don't always understand that we have a history, and Prohibition is part of it. And the Victorian age, where everything was just really rigid, and it really did prohibit to a degree. It's nice to have a society that respects a sense of propriety, but then if it becomes a sense of legalism and it goes over the top, maybe that's where we don't have the balance. All right, let's balance out something else. We're going into the trade season, and this is where it gets, I don't know, like soap opera-y, right? And it has been like Aaron Rodgers. It's almost like watching a film. Guy's going into his cave of darkness. If you haven't heard this, literally, he's gone into a cave of darkness. The place that he went to just have his chill time all alone in complete darkness is like a hobbit house. It has nothing but a queen-size bed, a bathroom, and a mat to meditate on. And so he's going to do this cave of darkness kind of a thing, figure out what he's going to do with his future. At least he's doing something. At least he's focusing in. So I'm not trying to diss him. It's just like a little larger than life, maybe. He came out of darkness a little bit early. They're talking, Packers say that they want Aaron back, but on one condition. You better be all in, dude. You got to be all in. But then you clowns send me this story that the headlines, and headlines are, I don't know, misleading to a degree, that Seahawks trade for Aaron Rodgers. I'm like, what? No, it's people like us talking about it, but
yeah, that one,
it was
yeah, there was
Brent.
that actually. So this story that was clickbait from some internet site, but that kind of started a few weeks ago, where I don't know if they were just a fan group or talk radio hosts in Green Bay basically proposed a trade that the Seahawks had to make for their own good, where they would send both their first round choices and one of their second round choices to Green Bay for Aaron Rodgers. And I'm like, no. As a Seahawk fan, no, I don't want that. There's no way in the world that they're going to trade all of that for a 38-year-old quarterback. It's crazy. But talk about a wish on the Green Bay fans' Christmas list. Sure. Yeah, why not?
yeah, I just want to know which one of you guys sent that.
That was him.
Okay,
I said
okay. Really? I'm like, what? I think I woke up to that one day this week. But speaking of the Seahawks, there's some interesting connections with Seahawk players that have made the news this week. Bobby Wagner is one of them, right? The Rams are literally letting him go, which is crazy on paper because dude had a great season, a really good record there, quite impressive. And who doesn't love Bobby Wagner? Come freaking on. But it does leave them some cap space. I don't know. Would it be cool to we're Seahawks fans, so my apologies to everyone all over the planet who hasn't gotten on the Seahawks bandwagon. It's okay. We love you too. And usually we have at least one person here who's from outside the area, but now it's just free reign. No one to rein us in. But would it be cool to have Bobby Wagner back in Seattle?
I think it would be cool to have Bobby Wagner back, certainly. I think the Rams let him go. It was a sort of a mutual thing. I know when Bobby signed in LA, the thought was they'd come off a Super Bowl, they'd have a chance to go back and do it again, and they had a bunch of injuries, and their season collapsed. In fact, I think they were the worst record for a Super Bowl winner the following season ever. So he wants to win. He's late in his career, and the Rams need to rebuild, so they need cap space, and they decide to part ways. Now, if the Seahawks bring Bobby Wagner back, they do need help in their linebacking core. But what is Bobby willing to do as far as salary goes? Because he's not going. I don't think he's going to come cheap. As good as he still is, he's not the player he was 5-6 years ago. But you could use some leadership there.
That's part of it.
If he's willing to play for less and be a coach on the field, I'm all for it. If he's looking for his last big payday and a Super Bowl win, maybe Cincinnati wants him. We can have Dell all happy.
Oh, Dell could be happy. I bet he'd like that trade. I have a sense, though, from the sidelines that he does want to come back. There's a part of him who would really like to see that. So you have to balance business with pleasure.
And he's his own. His own agent too. So that adds a different element to all of this, because if the negotiations get difficult, you actually still. Usually the agent handles all that, then you can say, oh, yeah, I'm all good with you, but that wasn't me. But now you're like making your own case and having to defend yourself against the team trying to talk the number down.
Right.
So that adds a whole different element to it. But
Garrick?
And I think that one of the things that the Seahawks could do to maybe incentivize him with a lower salary would be to promise him a future front office job.
Sure.
Because
That would work.
Really, because he's probably thinking long term as well. And if he's only got a few more years to play, and Seahawks are really very much kind of a family feel type of organization. And Seahawks fans love seeing their people, but we had Jim Zorn as a quarterback's coach for a while and some of those types of things.
Yeah, it is a kind of a Seattle thing, but it's not just Seattle. Other people, you get used to your folks, you love them, and it's hard to watch them leave the family, except for people like Russell Wilson, who was the darling of Seattle. And he has made the news. Oh my gosh, it's like watching a well-paid train wreck, a robotic, weird train wreck. What happened to that real, relatable guy? There was an analysis of one of the worst years of a professional athlete's life that we saw laid out. And one of the stories behind the scenes that you may not have known is that reportedly, Mr. Wilson was trying to get head coach Pete Carroll fired.
not just Pete, but general manager John Schneider too. So this story came out in The Athletic overnight that talked about how last February, Russell Wilson requested that they be fired. He is denying it now. But there's like multiple sources that have backed up this claim. One of the interesting things that came out of that is that he wanted them, I'm going blank.
Sean Payton?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
What he asked for was for them to fire Pete Carroll and to hire Sean Payton, who had recently stepped down from the New Orleans Saints job and was available a year ago. So after his disastrous season in Denver, where the whole franchise fell apart and resulted in his head coach being fired mid-season, he has Sean Payton as his coach. Apparently, there were even texts last year flying around during the season in Denver where he was lobbying for Sean Payton to come there. So he has what he wished for. Meanwhile, his personal staff has been invited to exit the building in Denver. So his personal quarterback coach and his health and nutrition coach, they're no longer welcome in the building. Where they pretty much had set up an office there for all these people last year.
It's like a superstar that's it's gotten to his head, and you've heard those rumors of rock stars that when they come into town, they have all these demands. I would like only green M&Ms in my dressing room, and all that. This is what it sounds like, and it wasn't just trying to get the head coach fired. Like, I'm the most important person in the world, but there were other things that were happening with his personal staff. He was asking other players, almost requiring some of the offensive players on the team there in Denver to come in on their one day off so that they could have their time with Russ and watch film and get training. And it was just like this controlling thing. Dude, what is going on with you, Garrick?
It's just one of those weird stories. And I think that's the only way that you can say it, because you mentioned that he had his entourage. He was given a space in their training facility for his team, and he had one of those people was his own quarterback coach. And so you ask the question, who was Russell listening to? His own quarterback coach, or the head coach, or the Broncos quarterback coach?
Or just himself?
The Broncos have a quarterback. Yeah, so it's just those weird situations. And I think your rock star analogy, I think, is a very good one, because it seems like it's as if he was married to a rock star or something. I don't know.
Or a wannabe. Oh, I didn't say that. We'll move on. Yeah, it's been a tough year for Russ, and then his charity that pays their people unimaginable amounts of money and does very little for the community. It just came out. It's embarrassing. And so good guy Russ, his image is pretty tarnished, and it's sad. And that exit that he had from Seattle, well, it makes a little bit more sense now. I
just wanted to, Garrick, you have a lot of experience with nonprofit organizations and how they work and how they should work. So what's your take on that whole fiasco with Russ and his.
I have no issue with nonprofit management people getting paid what they're worth. And if you've got good people in those positions and they get paid well, that's fine. The problem comes when you look at the overall spend of the organization and only 25% of it is actually going to the cause, then things are upside down. And so that, I think, is really the issue. Because if your budget is multiple things to your top staff people, a couple $100,000, maybe not one person getting a couple $100,000, but if that's your staff spend, that's not outrageous or egregious. But when you start looking at the services that your nonprofit is supposed to deliver, because typically administrative costs for healthy nonprofit organizations can be upwards of 20+%, but not the other way around. If it's flip-flopped and you're only delivering on 25% of your services, then that really is.
Me taking my dollar and giving it to someone in need, I know that 100% of that is going to go to the person in need, not just 25 cents, and the other is going to make sure that Tara has a nice new pair of shoes. I don't want, when I'm giving money, it's for a reason. I wanted to talk about...
Well, in fairness to the organization, Russell wasn't pocketing money for his family.
It was alliteration. I was just being silly, Garrett.
Okay,
he was paying his...
Josh, wait, Josh is here.
Oh, Josh is here.
Oh, hi. He was paying the guy from his foundation that was working for his personal business as well, and paying him well over the amount that anyone in that position in a charity at that level gets paid. So... well, he wasn't personally pocketing the money. There's a little bit of sketchiness there. Sure. There should be a hard, fast line between those two things, and that was not followed.
Yeah. Josh, did you hear the news of the reports that around the exit of Russell Wilson from Seattle, he was trying to get the general manager and head coach fired?
I did. And in a rare occurrence, Russell Wilson actually responded to this, where he usually ignores the news stories. I'm not sure if it makes me feel like it's more true or less true. But honestly, this wasn't a bombshell to me. I assumed it was a me or them situation last year when they went into the Vatican with the ownership group and waited for the white smoke to come out of... Is Russell Wilson getting traded, or is Pete and John gone? I think we all assumed that at that point. So I don't know, but so maybe it wasn't like he went to ownership and was like, you have to get fired, or so much as it was just like, there's a difference of opinion here. Which way are you going to go?
Yeah, I think that, to me, first of all, if there was that request made, and secondly, and yes, I really would like for you to hire Sean Payton.
Now here it is. And this is, to me, Josh, since you're just coming in, I wanted you to weigh in on Pete Carroll. He has had an incredible career, and he's still going strong. He's rebuilt a team that was faltering. And I thought it was interesting because Caleb Williams, if he's a Heisman winner, a Heisman Trophy winner, and maybe on course to be only the second college player to be a two-time Heisman Trophy winner, he let loose this week who he'd really like to land with. Now, of course, you don't get that choice. He's probably going to be a number one draft pick, but you don't have a choice where you're going to go. It's whoever grabs you, right? He said, however, he wants to play with younger coaching staff. He's really drawn to the younger coaching staff, so he picked the Dolphins. And then on top of it, he said, and they have really pretty uniforms. Josh.
He likes the vibe. I don't know. I liked the Dolphins uniforms when I was a kid. I was always a fan aesthetically. I get it.
I'm not going to lie. When I was a kid, I always followed the Seahawks because I lived in Seattle, but I liked the Dolphins because I liked Dolphins, and Flipper was great. But I was like 8 at the time. Come on. No,
I think that there is a movement towards younger coaches, because a lot of times the younger coaches get it in a lot of sense, because there's a big movement with the younger coaches to be a player's coach. Who started all that, even though it wasn't being younger, was Pete Carroll. He was a guy that really stepped away from kind of the Bill Parcells tree that a lot of the modern coaches and the old guard has been from, similar trees where it's a really hard-nosed. Pete Carroll is a player's coach, and you hear that from a lot of his players. Like, they love that guy. Like, a lot of the players that have been with Pete a long time, like, they love that man, and they love the way that he cares. And we heard KJ Wright was on every Wednesday for a while this year during the football season talking about it, and it felt like every week he said something else about how Pete Carroll was great, how he got it, how he would talk to the players about real life issues and how he would address political issues of the day. Hey, we got to talk about this as a team. We're brothers together. This is what I believe. Opened up for them to be themselves. That was not a Bill Parcells trait. And younger coaches are moving more that way. So I get why some players like, yeah, I would like to have some of those younger coaches because that's what they want.
And I could hear how from the Williams camp it'll come out if he does get drafted by the Seahawks will be Pete is he's young at heart, right?
He's like 30 years old.
He's
younger than I am.
He's a 25-year-old in a 70-year-old's body.
He certainly is. But I wanted to move to, we don't often talk about basketball, but there were some awful stories, some good and bad that came out of basketball. There was a shooting victim okay, let's get to the story. It was Alabama, right? And Brandon Miller is a player for Alabama there, and there was a shooting. He owned a gun that was involved. Someone borrowed or got his gun, and the parents of the victim say this guy shouldn't be playing basketball because he owned a gun and someone else used it. So they were outraged. Now, this is one of the breakout players that's probably one of the most draftable. He's just a star, and he's going to go far. Unfortunate to be involved in this, but did any of you hear this story at all?
Yeah, one of the things that was unfortunate, too, is that his head coach, I don't remember his name, but he raised the seriousness of it by saying that Brandon Miller was the wrong place at the wrong time. I think there's a lot of questions about the involvement of his gun, whether he actually brought it to...
He did. We don't know.
That's the thing. I think there's a lot of questions. I guess for me, it's like, I'm not ready to like just kick him off the team, but at the same time, I think you need to suspend a guy like that until you figure out what the truth of the matter is behind.
So far, even the police say we can't see that he's broken any laws. So until he does, should he be suspended? And just because we don't like guns, just because it looks bad?
You look at another situation, another basketball situation where Texas head coach Chris Beard was fired from his job. He was involved in a domestic violence incident with his wife where apparently he choked her. And then there initially were charges filed against him, but then the charges were dropped largely at her behest. But the university still fired him, despite the fact that there were no charges involved. But he was still involved in something that, and it was within his contract that if you bring a bad,
it's bad press essentially.
If you bring something bad onto the university because of your behavior, your job is forfeit. So I don't think you always have to depend on charges being filed.
I think you would, in my opinion, if you're talking pro sports, but this is college. And so oftentimes it's hard to differentiate between the two when you're in school, and it may be a different, I don't know, maybe a different persona there. Another story though, and then I can have you guys weigh in. The 76ers star James Harden had done something pretty amazing, I thought. There was a Michigan State had that shooting where there were injuries, a couple people were killed. One of his fans is paralyzed, and he took the time to FaceTime him to encourage him and say, hey, you know what, you got to keep fighting, you've got this, you're going to be okay. And I just wanted to give that shout out. It's almost like a final shout out, but good for him. There's a lot of violence going on though, guys, and we see it more and more in and off the field. Even there was a story of a PSV fan that came onto a Sevilla field. They were playing, and a fan came and punched the goalkeeper in the face. I'm not kidding. It just is getting crazy out there. Josh, Garrick, one of you guys want to weigh in?
Go ahead, Josh.
People are crazy.
Okay, there you go. Moving on.
I do think we're seeing more and more how what's happening in sports is reflecting what we're seeing in society. There's been more basketball stories. There was this story in New Mexico where they had one of their players that was involved in another shooting, but it also involved a kidnapping plot, and then they ended their season because one of their own players was being assaulted in a hazing incident by others. Well, this high school basketball season too, all across the country, there've been multiple incidents of fans getting involved in violence on the court with players. There have been some brawls that were serious enough that like teams have been like kicked out of their state tournament finals. There's just stuff going on all over the place. I know sometimes we get with information where we know everything that's happening everywhere, but
that's true. But what's happening everywhere sucks. It's freaking crazy. It's just been crazy out there. Do you guys want to move to baseball? Because we've got the first day of spring training and it's a whole new season. When baseball is starting to arise, the spring has come and it's exciting. And I know, Josh, this is each one of us, if you watch this show a lot, each of us has our own bent on our favorite sport that we like to opine on. Josh is our baseball correspondent. Josh, happy spring.
Happy spring training, and what a beautiful spring training it is. A lot to be excited about this year, too. We have the World Baseball Classic happening, which contributes to the fact that, like, the Mariners have, I think, 75 people in Major League Camp right now. So it is jam-packed, and it's funny to see because there's not really a whole lot of spots up for grabs. But because World Baseball Classic is going to take guys out of it, we're going to see stuff like that happening. But, man, pitchers and catchers going, bats going, batting practices, and we've seen some great stuff. We actually saw Matt Brash, reliever for the Mariners, his filthy stuff right now. And he had actually Driveline down in Tacoma. They are one of the premier like baseball training facilities, and they were working with Matt Brash this offseason. And one of their trainers said that Matt Brash, his slider might be the best pitch in the history of Major League Baseball, just based on the amount of movement it has. And on spring training so far, there was a clip of him facing JP Crawford, and JP Crawford after that said, "What was that?" Like, like he didn't even know what pitch he just got thrown. It was just all over the place.
And JP's not exactly a rookie either. So this is a guy who's played a lot of games and seen a lot of pitches, and to not be able to identify a nasty pitch from his own teammates is crazy.
Yeah, and what'll be fun is Matt Brash is on the World Baseball Classic. He's going to be playing for Team Canada, and the Mariners are going to have an exhibition game this spring against Team Canada. So we'll get to see Matt Brash try to light up his teammates live, and that should be fun.
Yeah, I think he asked for that too. I think he wants to face his teammates.
Yeah, he's excited about that one. How can you not?
So have to watch out if he hits anyone who it is and find out what's going on there.
Hopefully not Ty France. Like, he's gotten enough.
He's had enough of that.
He's gotten beat up a little bit.
Yeah, spring has sprung. I wanted to take on a couple of face-off issues. There's two things. I'll let you guys weigh on whichever one you want to. One is news coming out of the Olympics. Australia has signed on to complain about Olympic neutrality. And Olympic neutrality in this case means not allowing Russian athletes to compete. And the Olympics are saying we shouldn't punish the athletes because of the country. Does it really make a difference? Is Putin going to say, what? We can't compete in the Olympics? Okay. Cut off the war. We're done. Does it really matter? And does Olympic neutrality, when maybe we'll be at a place where, okay, there's countries that don't believe in the same things we believe in or we think is okay or politically correct or even correct. Where does that neutrality line stop? The other one is Djokovic, that he is asking for permission to come into the United States, even though he's unvaccinated. That headline grabbed me because I didn't realize, are we still playing that game after all this time? We still care about that? So take on one of those. It's time for a little face-off.
Face-off.
He's next to me, so he gets the mic.
I think the Olympic neutrality thing is sticky, to say the least, because on one hand, you don't want to give, we'll say, rogue countries a platform for their propaganda. You go back, for us, it's ancient history.
China.
It is, but you go back to like the Nazi Olympics back in the World War II era, where that whole thing was set up to be a showcase for Hitler, and it didn't always go real well in that regard. And even more recently, when China hosted, we saw all the things that China wanted us to see.
That wasn't very neutral. There's a difference, Garrick, between having a country host and having players and athletes participate.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I think hosting is more significant than whether or not someone participates. So holding out against Russian athletes because of what their country is doing versus not too long ago Russian actually hosting the Olympics. What is really going on with this? Is this just an excuse for social engineering? Say, oh, you don't hold this proper social position, so no, you no longer can participate. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Oh, Garrick, you're here.
That all these organizations, I think, are, forgive me, but kind of corrupt at the top level. You look at FIFA, you look at the International Olympic Committee, I just feel like people, they play both sides. And I remember in 1980, the U.S. boycotted the Olympics when President Carter, who's now on hospice care, President Carter reacted very strongly against what was happening in Afghanistan, because I think that was in the Soviet Union, wasn't it? The Olympics was that year. And so anyway, I just feel like there's just way too much politics involved in it. On one level, I do understand that you don't want to stand when countries are doing things that are so egregious. You don't want to allow them a platform to continue to speak out. And whether or not you shouldn't punish the players, or the athletes themselves, but at the same time, it should all be together.
Yeah, but I think it's hypocritical if you're going to host in an egregious nation and then say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you can't participate." Josh, which would you like to weigh in on?
Yeah.
Spring training.
I do have something to say about the Djokovic thing too, is that I think a lot of physicians who are looking at all the evidence, and looking at all the data that's actually out there. I had an appointment with my cardiologist last Monday, and, because of the fact that for similar reasons to Djokovic, I am not vaccinated. And I asked
producers know that. I'm not sure if you're allowed on the air.
I think your video just got shut down.
I hope while you're watching this, you're at least wearing a mask, because Garrick.
Yeah, I know, right? So anyway,
as he puts on his mask, I love it.
Reason for me to still be vaccinated. And he said, actually, you could get the vaccine for the Spanish flu as well, which happened in the 1920s, but it's no longer really relevant. And he said that's the same thing, because the COVID-19 vaccine was developed for the original strain of COVID. And he is not an anti-vaxxer in any way, because he believes that that was okay for some of the audiences that if it was intended for them. But anyway, he's saying that all the vaccines and the boosters now, they're being created for strains that no longer exist because of the fact that the disease is progressing towards endemicity. So anyway, it seems crazy. I think, like your response, Michelle, you mean the U.S. is still not allowing people into the country who aren't vaccinated?
Unless they come illegally, apparently.
Well, all he has to do is come in through the southern border. I love it. Guys, I think it's about time for us to take our final shot. So I don't know what Josh is going to want to talk about.
Final shot.
I love you, Josh.
Right after this, I'm going to go get my snacks ready to watch the first spring training game. Baseball is finally back. Mariners play at noon. And I believe Robbie Ray is on the mound, which I'm excited to see the tight pants and hear the grunts of every pitch as he goes out there giving his all. It's an exciting time, man. And the one thing I want to point out is the Mariners have two people on their team that are not related, but one is Harrison Michael Ford, and the other is Michael Harrison Ford. So I just want to let you guys know that. Try not to get confused as you see Mike Ford and Harry Ford out there playing. Keep them separate. But fun facts for you guys.
Weren't they in? Yeah, I was going to say Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Garrick.
So my final shot is one of those unshots. I don't know what you call them when it's a negative thing, but I know the Sounders organization, I believe this is maybe MLS wide, is that they're making you requiring you to have Apple TV in order to watch the matches now. They're not going to be broadcasts on. Additionally, Fox will cover some games, but if you want to watch all the games, you have to have Apple TV. And I just think that it is really an unfortunate thing for the MLS, who is trying to grow in popularity, trying to spread the word and get more fans, that they enter into this agreement, which I'm sure it has financial implications as to why they're doing it. But I think it's going to hurt the fans. It's going to hurt the fan base. I think it's unfortunate and somewhat short-sighted. So
well put. Brent,
how about another unshot or a shot at? You know how it's traditional to invite national champions to the White House. Yes, yeah. And University of Georgia Bulldogs, who have now won 2 college football championships in a row for the 2nd consecutive year, were not invited to the White House. And to me, it's like, only reason this could be is because the Biden administration does not like some of the things that have happened in Georgia politically. So we're going to punish the kids for that. So I'll thumb my nose at
absolutely. Just as I have a problem when athletes or a team says, we're not going to go to the White House because we don't like who the president is. Short-sighted ninnies. Come on. This is about being recognized, and it's about the office of the president, not who is sitting in the seat. What is wrong with our society? At any rate, that's not my final shot. My final shot is Ashbury College has had a nearly 2-week revival where people were refusing to leave. Hundreds upon hundreds of people were coming to this tiny little Christian college town. Every hotel room was booked. People from all over the world were literally coming for this revival. It was unplanned, just kids that didn't want to leave chapel. And I went on from there 24 hours a day, people praying, people confessing, people finding Christ as their Savior. It's so exciting to see it starting. And there was a middle school response in Tennessee where at a little Christian school, the kids were just refusing to leave, and the worship just continues. I've been saying for a long time that we are ripe for revival. As crazy as we've been even reporting today, as things are getting, God is greater. So pray for revival. Pray that something reaches in and woos the heart of our lost and dying generations of kids suffering from depression, suicide, gender confusion, cutting, the likes of despair that our world has never really seen. But as dark as things can be, that's how great and greater that our God is. And I'm excited about it. So that's my final shot. You might want to grab that. We just want to give shameless plugs to my book, our books. There's books. Hello, book. Hi. Nice to meet you. We have our books out. You can find them at MyMichelleLive.com. We have links. And guys, thank you. And Garrick, you're writing a book. Josh, what's your book going to be? Spring Training.
Yeah, Spring Training. Yeah, or maybe how to watch baseball while having 3 kids.
Good luck with that.
A guy's dad to figuring out watching sports.
That's what the pause button's for.
You got some dads here that have some dads and moms that have some experience here with that. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you for watching, listening, and seeking out the God story in your own game of life. God bless you.
For more fun, go to MyMichelleLive.com.